Before I issue your US tourist visa, deposit $10,000. Sounds shocking, right? But soon you may hear this statement. The US State Department has rolled out a 12-month pilot program that could require business and tourist visa seekers from certain nations to post a bond between $5,000 and $15,000. Is this a necessary step or an unfair barrier? In this video, I'll break down what's changing, who's affected, and how travelers could respond. Stay with me. You'll want to know this if you or someone you know plans to visit the US. Before we go deeper, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss updates as this evolves. This isn't just another visa tweak, it's one of the most significant shifts in US non-immigrant visa policy in years, aimed at tackling visa overstays and managing risk more aggressively. The US Department of State says this pilot is to ensure financial accountability. That is, the government won't be left holding the bag if someone stays illegally. Imagine a traveler from Malawi or Zambia planning a family visit or business trip to the US only to discover that a bond must now be posted before setting foot on American soil. This bond targets B1 business and B2 tourist visa applicants from countries flagged for high visa overstay rates. It does not affect other visa categories like student visas, work permits, or exchange programs. Travelers from the Visa Waiver Program (VWP) countries are also exempt. As of August 20th, 2025, only Malawi and Zambia are officially on the list. The requirement takes effect 15 days after publication in the Federal Register. Travelers must post their bond through pay.gov with funds held in a U.S. Treasury escrow account under the supervision of the Department of Homeland Security. The bond itself comes with rules about how to get it back. The path to a refund is simple. Leave the U.S. on time and return bond. But if they overstay or break visa conditions, the bond can be forfeited to cover the costs of enforcement. If the average bond is $10,000, that means roughly $20 million in temporary funds will be tied up in government escrow accounts during the program's duration. Let's bring in reality. The Department of State has already published a list. Malawi and Zambia are subject to visa bonds effective August 20th, 2025. Why these countries? Because their overstay rates, vetting challenges, or citizenship by investment (CBI) programs make them higher risk. Naturally, this new visa bond rule has sparked significant controversy and attracted criticism. One of the most common criticisms is the financial barrier it creates. A $10,000 or $15,000 deposit, even if refundable, is simply out of reach for many travelers. The majority of applicants from low and middle-income countries cannot afford to pay huge sum up front. Next is the wrongful forfeiture. Immigration systems are not perfect and there are chances of errors. If the US government's databases makes any mistakes, that person could lose their credibility. Experts warn that the Automated Departure Information System, ADIS, is not entirely foolproof and can occasionally register inaccurate data. Another problem is the administrative and logistical complexity. US consular staff will now face more responsibilities, like evaluating applicants for bond eligibility, collecting and managing payments, and tracking compliance. These leads to longer visa processing times and increased bureaucratic workload. The program could also lead to reduced mobility and make passports less meaningful for citizens of certain countries. Even those not initially affected by the bond requirement may find themselves added to the list later, creating uncertainty and anxiety around future travel plans. Finally, there are moral and diplomatic objections to the program. Many critics believe it sends the wrong message to the international community, potentially damaging diplomatic goodwill. Zooming out, globally, countries are tightening immigration systems in response to overstays, illegal migration, and geopolitical concerns. Australia has experimented with visa security deposits for high-risk applicants. Other nations like the UK have debated similar schemes but not on a large scale. In the US, previous administrations floated the idea of visa bonds, but none followed because of high concerns about public backlash and administrative complexity. The Trump administration had first proposed a similar bond plan in 2020, though it was never implemented. Now, in 2025, the State Department claims that such concerns are no longer supported by evidence and that modern payment and tracking systems make the program manageable. Let's go deeper into how the rules operate. Bond levels and discretion. Consular officers choose between $5,000, $10,000, and $15,000 based on context, ties to home country, financial capacity, travel history, visa annotations and validity. The visa will be annotated to show the bond valid for single entry within 3 months. Entry and exit constraints. Must use designated airports, initially BOS, JFK, IAD. Changing these may occur, but 15 days notice is required. Refund and breach process. Upon compliance, the bond is cancelled with no interest. The applicant receives Form 1391, notice, immigration bond cancelled. If breach suspected, DHS handles final decision. Appeal window and bond posting timing. A visa under 221G may be denied but overcome if bond is posted within 30 days. Estimations and assumptions. The department assumes approximately 2,000 applicants in the pilot. Average bond approximately $10,000, $20 million tied up temporarily. The consequences of this program could be far-reaching. On a cannot afford paying $10,000 bond. On a societal level, it may reduce tourism revenue, minimize cultural exchange, and send a negative diplomatic signal. For Malawi and Zambia, countries that already face economic challenges, citizens may view this as a direct insult, reinforcing perceptions that the US does not welcome them. Diplomatically, this could put pressure on these governments to strengthen passport security or reduce overstay rates. For the US, the risk is that this bond program could discourage not only those who overstay, but also legitimate visitors who bring value to the US economy. If you or someone you know may be affected by the new visa bond rule, the first step is to stay updated. The US will publish lists of covered countries at least 15 days before inclusion on travelstates.government. If asked to post a bond, use pay.gov and follow instructions. Keep all documentation, return tickets, proof of exit, and evidence that you complied with visa rules. Travelers who may qualify for a waiver should prepare strong supporting evidence such as prior travel history, employment connections, or a clear purpose of visit. Finally, advocacy matters. Citizens can urge their governments to negotiate with the US, and for nations not yet listed, vigilance is key. The program may expand, reshaping travel opportunities. This visa bond pilot marks a bold experiment. On one hand, it reinforces accountability and may reduce visa abuse. On the other, it risks restricting mobility, especially for those without deep pockets. What do you think? Would you be willing to pay $5,000 to $15,000 as a deposit if it guarantees your visa? Or does this cross a line? Let me know in the comments below. If this update was useful, hit like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next visa news breakdown. I'll keep watching this story and bring you updates as they come.